Hey everybody, welcome back to Shop 2.0. Let's get started. We've got concrete, and that's pretty awesome. If you want to see that project, click up here somewhere for those couple of videos. Otherwise, more importantly, we are back working on the 72 Challenger, and I've started doing a little work off camera to strip off paint from the engine bay, but I do need to go ahead and remove the front suspension and K-member to clean and prep under where they are bolted to the frame because that's getting painted, and B, we have a bunch of new suspension parts to put on. So the task for today is to work on getting this, the front end finished being deconstructed, and we've got a box back there full of all of our new bushings and everything that'll go back on. I have the steering box rebuilt up in the garage, so that's done, ready to go back on. And then of course, once this is disassembled, I need to go ahead and get the key member itself cleaned, prepped, and painted to go back on the vehicle after we spray the Sublime Green in the engine bay. So let's get this figured out and taken apart. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get these front tires zipped off of here, and that's gonna allow us room to get our underside. We've got our torsion arms to relieve, and then there's a couple of bolts, probably 4 bolts for the K-member. We've got our upper control arm, hardware here, and then our shocks that also need to come off. So let's start taking off parts. Now, if you're playing along at home, I don't know that alignment washers are the proper way to mount studs that are, lugs that are too deep, but it doesn't matter because these wheels and tires are going away, and we also have, hey, there's spacers in here. Neat. We also have a new set of disc brake conversion swap to throw on. So, go get the driver's side off, which is missing one of the studs. All right, let me go put those somewhere and we'll come back and keep moving. Alrighty, we've got a couple of 9/16 nuts to hold on the shocks, and I'm sure they're gonna spin around on me, so I'm just gonna take big old channel locks, grab out of that old crusty shock, and run them off. Alrighty, I've got those run off, and for me it's nearing the end of August, and you'll see this sometime in September, but it is 91 in here right now, it says, but I will say that having our floor in here, it does seem a lot more tolerable. Of course, I've got a fan going, which also helps not blowing dirt all over the place. But back to the topic at hand, let's work on getting these upper control arm bolts off. I'm guessing those are not 9/16. Those would be 3/4. And I'm trying a new tactic, is putting a tool back once I take it out and I'm done using it, because I'm trying to start off on the right foot, or a better foot down here, with things organized and clean and not having a giant crap hole of stuff thrown everywhere, which I'm sure will eventually happen. The workbench already is a little cluttered, but I'm packing up to go to the Steam Threshers reunion next week. Got my camera stuff gonna go with me, some other tools I'm packing up. Anyways, I digress. Back to the point, but I'm gonna try and stay organized, or at least more organized. Well, that came off better than I was expecting. I went out and picked up some new goodies from Harbor Freight, just for a little better set of tools that have not 10-year-old batteries. And so I've got some stuff up in the garage for general routine stuff and automotive stuff down here. So and I know we have little alignment washers in here and stuff. But with everything going back on, of course we are going to go and have an alignment done once the vehicle's all put back together. But I did take pictures ahead of time, so I have half of a chance of putting it back kind of where it goes. And I got something in my eye besides a pupil. You know what I don't have down here yet is a good whacking stick, except for all of my body hammers, which I'm really not going to use. So let me go up to the garage and find a hammer, and we can work on drifting out these or pushing out these bolts for the upper control arm. All right, well, I went up, got a dead blow hammer. Actually, I got 2 of the 3 I have, and then realized the 3rd one was already down here. So, well, oh well. I'm gonna make some noise, try and knock these bolts loose. All right, let me get those the rest of the way out. This hardware, I believe we are keeping, so I do need to organize that and make sure I don't lose it. I don't believe there are new bolts and everything in our rebuild kit for this stuff, but I am going to keep things organized, so if we do reuse them, they're ready to go for us. Alrighty, I've got those 4 nut and bolt sets marked in catalog so we can use them for reassembly. I did go ahead and relieve the tension on our torsion bars so I could get one of the 4 bolts out of the upper control arms. Next, we've got to take and release, let loose the whole K-member section, and that is 4 1 1/16 inch bolts. And I went and grabbed the bigger hardware from up in the garage, and we're going to try and zip those off, hopefully with the big impact. And the goal is it should come loose and should hopefully come out. I'd like to take the torsion bars with me so the whole assembly slides out and just disassemble everything separately without having to mess with stuff in the engine bay. So we're going to go ahead and give that a shot. Four. Now, I believe I'll need to A, drop the jack a little bit, but B, try and pry out this upper control arm. So I'm gonna try and drop the jack here a little bit and see where that gets us to start with. Well, it might all just fall right out. Let's go ahead and get these bolts out. Yep, I think I've got to grab a pry bar and work on getting these control arms out. And then I'm guessing everything is going to fall down and go thud. Throw a little pressure back on the frame here. Yeah, well, the big guy was right at the top of the stack, so we're going to use him. Alrighty, there's the passenger side. Easy enough. Alright. Now I do have the old brake lines. Those are still clipped. I know we're going to replace them, but I'm going to try and get them off without breaking them just because. And if they don't easily come off, I'm just going to cut them. Yep, that's too much effort. Okay, brake line is cut over here. Now the next thing to do is get this whole assembly out. The torsion bars, there is a little C-clip on the back side of them, and then you should be able to drive them out. I don't have that special tool with the clamps around the torsion bars. I would really like to take the whole thing out in one assembly. So I want to see if I can go ahead and just tap on it and bring the whole thing forward out the front of those mounts for the torsion bars. If not, I guess I'll go ahead and order the tool and we will come back when that gets here. Well, I think my best bet is just to go ahead and order the right tool for the job, put a pin in this, and come back once I've got that tool and we can take these torsion bars out the correct way. It is advised, do not beat on the bars themselves. Do not put vice grips and try and hammer against that. Don't do anything to scratch or damage or nick those torsion bars. It could cause them to break or crack at some point down the road. I don't think we are replacing these. I'll check with Darren, but either way, I don't have the right tool to get it out, and we're gonna have to wait until that comes back. So until then, well, we are back. It is after Labor Day for me now. If you didn't see any of my reels posted over Labor Day weekend, I was up at the Western Minnesota Theme Threshers reunion, volunteering my time, working on their video, and seeing some old friends. Check that out. I'll drop a link below. Anyways, we are back. I have a bunch of stuff that came in while we were gone, just for the Challenger. So let's see what I got over there. I got Bobcat parts. I got RV power cable parts. I want to run one of my cables around the back of the shop versus smack dab through the middle of the forest so I don't run it over anymore. But the two important things are, one, we have what should be the torsion bar removal tool I picked up off the rainforests. Box in a box. Now, beyond all my crumpling, here's our little doohickey. So basically, you unbolt this, 4 bolts, and it wraps. Don't focus on my face, camera. Here. Don't focus on my face. Nobody wants to see that. Okay, you wrap this, clamp it around the torsion bar, and then you tap it. Actually, I think it should be 90 degrees off. Either way, you tap it to remove the torsion bar from the front end assembly. There are a couple of little spring clips that come out behind the torsion bar, so that allows it to come out. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that put on, and I think I know what's in the other box. Let's check that out quick too. A box of goodies, some sweet patina. Just was watching Jared over on the Questionable Garage a few weeks ago with one of his episodes on his Mopar restoration project, and this seemed like a good option to try for some of our rust conversion, encapsulation, whatnot. More. I feel like Dr. Seuss. Anyways, what's in the box? We have a jar of metal prep, cleaner degreaser, and another tub of goo. So I'm going to go over this in probably the next video. But for now, let's get back on our topic at hand and work on getting these torsion bars out. Alrighty, so we're taking these 4 bolts out of our bracket here, and I'm really not going to put you underneath to get those spring clips out. I'll kind of show you what they look like, but there's just really not a good place to mount you. Don't have a lift, of course, to get up high, and the best I can do is probably let you look down the engine bay where there should be an engine, and hopefully you can see something, but no guarantees. Alrighty, well, you probably can't see me very well. I'm down here, but underneath on the same cross member as the transmission mount, there are the openings for the torsion bars, and in them are 2 little clips. How's that go? And these clips should come out. As long as they don't break off. Let me get them both as long as I'm down here. Here's what they look like, and I'll show you better in just a second here. All right, that was easier than I expected. Hi, this is what they look like. And they just clip right in and retain the torsion bar from sliding out the back. Alrighty, I went ahead and jacked the K-member back up to the frame, Hopefully there's a little less angle to get these torsion bars to slide out. I assume that this dead blow hammer is going to be too small for the job. I've got to go find a bigger one. But the point is, we're going to wrap against this brace, or this bracket, and the torsion bar should hopefully come out. It's probably going to be a lot of noise, but the main thing is you don't want to end up beating the crap out of your firewall, your other inner fenders, the frame of course, or anything else. So you've got to be careful what you're doing. If I was underneath or had a lift, I probably would move these back a little bit farther, but I don't, and this is the best place that I can go to get a good purchase on whacking this thing. So I'm going to find probably a hammer that's too big for the job and see what I can do. Well, that was easier than I thought it would be. Let me pull this one out and yeah, I've got to get that bracket off. Then we can work on the one over on the passenger side. Alrighty, we'll see if this one comes out as easily. Well, that worked, and that's why you use jack stands. They both came out easier than I expected them to. I really didn't throw any force behind them, just let the weight of this giant 10-pound sledge do the job, which appears to be breaking. So what I need to do is get this thing rebraced, get the K-member out, block it back up in the jack stands. Actually, I've got some cribbing around here I'll probably use instead, and we can continue. So let me get this mess fixed. Alrighty, we're back on jack stands. We are blocking the rear tires again, and I think that's gonna wrap this one up. Nothing too time-consuming, I mean, at least for your end of things. My next steps are gonna be finish cleaning the rest of the green paint off of the engine bay here. And then, depending on how big of a mess I feel like making and if I can find all the new rubber bushings and components for the front end, I'm going to either strip this down and get to working on that. I do need to put a brace under the front here so I can still move the vehicle around a little bit, take some 4x4 cribbing and just to hold up on the frame. So I'm either going to work on that or I'm going to take a chance with that sweet patina, rust converter, encapsulator, and go attack the sail panels, the inside, the floorboards, everything else, and get that also prepped and ready for primer. So still a ton of work to do here, but that's kind of the direction I'm working towards. I need to get a new updated checklist of stuff, but unfortunately all of my pieces of cardboard are small these days. So that's where I'm at for right now. So again, stay tuned. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, please do. It helps the channel, and you can get notified by clicking that little bell down there whenever we put out new content, which pretty much is every other Saturday right now for projects. I'd like to get back to weekly, but it is busy, and we've got family and a life and a day job. So I can't get stuff made as quickly as I would like to, or progress made as quickly as I would like to, but I'm doing the best I can with what I've got. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.